Welcome to WSJ Live. I'm Geoff Foster. Today we're joined by Willie Randolph, former major leaguer and author of the new book, The Yankee Way. So Willie, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me here.
You played in the Bronx for more than a decade. You won 6 rings, 2 as a player, 4 as a coach.
Yes.
You have a new book out called The Yankee Way. Can you just define what the Yankee Way is? Is that even possible?
Well, it is kind of tough for me, because everyone has different, definitions of it. But to me, since I've been with the team, it's all been about winning. It's about tradition. It's about legacy. It's about championships. 27 World Championships. The fact that as a rookie coming up, I've been a part of this great legacy and winning. It just means winning and being with great teammates, good character guys, on and off the field. Working with some of the best players in the game. So simplifying it, it's winning, and it's about legacy and tradition.
So your Yankee career is pretty interesting because you were with the Bronx Zoo teams in the late 1970s.
Yeah.
And then as a coach, you were with the, the core 4 years with
Yes.
Jeter and Rivera and them. How did those two dynasties, if we call them dynasties, compare, or how did those teams compare?
Well, different teams, I think, in that, the players in the '96 team with Torrey came aboard, that we had more of an overabundance of talent through the lineup. Back then we had great players, the Thurman Munson, the Roy Whites, the Chris Chamblises and the Greg Nettles. But, our pitching, we didn't have the big name pitchers. Catfish Hunter was there, a few guys, but it is a different era. So it's the players today are much more talented, and there's more of them across the board. But I thought that our group back in the day, we had a certain camaraderie, a certain togetherness that was very special. Very volatile situation with George Steinbrenner and Billy Martin, but we learned to deal with that and kind of play on the field and leave that other stuff on the outside.
You mentioned Steinbrenner. How do you see the team has changed since Steinbrenner has passed away, in terms of how they're managed, how they're run, and how the...
Well, it's a difference. I mean, the boss was the boss, and he made sure they held everyone accountable for everything. So things have changed a little bit, I guess, but it's still that detail to excellence. You want to make sure that the team stays on top. The Steinbrenner boys are very committed to that. You can tell every year they go out and get some of the best players. They go out and recruit some of the best players in the league. And our core leadership understands how to lead in that way. So the excellence is there. The winning is always going to be there. But without George's presence, it is different, no doubt about it.
How do you think George would have handled the scenario last summer with Alex Rodriguez and everything that was going on there off the field?
Oh, I don't know, man. George is pretty volatile, and I'm sure that even though it was great back page fodder, I don't think he would have loved the fact that we were being kind of embarrassed like that with the steroids and things of that nature.
It's an interesting stage right now for the Yankees because they have all these guys retiring. Jeter's now retiring. How do you see the team going forward without that core 4 leadership?
Well, it's going to be an adjustment, no doubt about it. I mean, it's very rare to have a core 4 like that for so long. When you're in the pitching, defense, and everyday plays like a Derek Jeter, that core leadership is very rare. So it's going to be some lean years there. I'm not sure who's going to take the mantle and take off from there. But the Yankees will make sure that they bring in the right players. They brought in Ellsbury, of course, from the Red Sox. Brian McCann is another leader on our team. Brett Gardner has an opportunity now to take, to take the leadership role here, even though Brett's 32 years old. But there's going to be a little bit of a transition here, and but I think they'll make it smoothly, and I think the Yankees will still be out there with the quality team.
Do you have any ill will towards the Mets on how that sort of went down and how your time there concluded?
Not really. I mean, listen, the way it went down wasn't right. I mean, no one would feel good about that. But no, the memories are too many good memories. I finally had the opportunity to manage the Mets, a team I grew up rooting for as a youngster,
right.
and it was a privilege and an honor because that 30 jobs in the league, they don't come too easy. And I paid my dues for a long time. So when I got the opportunity, I was successful right away. A lot of doubters maybe initially, but I was able to, along with my coaching staff, to get the team back to prominence, if you will. We knocked the Braves off their perch after 13 years, which is the big thing. And then we got one pitch from going to the World Series. And my man Carlos Beltran, yeah, it was a great curveball. And Carlos Beltran, probably a future Hall of Famer, couldn't pull the trigger.
Was he looking for a fastball there?
It seemed like that. I hope he wasn't, because on a full count you can't guess.
Right.
But I just think that he just threw him a great pitch and he just locked him up, and he just couldn't pull the trigger. And that's I've been there. I've done that before. So it was at a tough spot. You know, it could have changed the complexion of history in New York, but it wasn't his fault. I mean, he did a great job. Without him, we wouldn't have been there. So I love Carlos. He's with the Yankees now, obviously, so I saw him in spring training. But no, when I think about the memories that I had in New York, Geoff, I wouldn't trade him for the world, and the positive way outweigh the negative. You know you're hired to be fired. You know, sometimes you would like it to end a different way, but I understand that, and no one will ever take away the memories and the honor and the privilege I had to manage the team that I actually grew up rooting for.
Would you take another manager job if one came to you?
No doubt about it. I've been waiting for a while now. After I left the Mets, I went to Milwaukee for 2 years as the bench coach, and Baltimore for 1 as the bench coach. So I've shown baseball that I'm willing and ready to get back on the field. Things haven't come together yet, but hopefully in the near future they will.
Okay, Willie, thank you so much for joining us today. The book is called The Yankee Way. I'm Geoff Foster with WSJ Live.